Well, this is my picture for week 1 of Inktober 52. I chose to do a dragonfly. The reason I chose dragonfly is because the wings. Now, I had to search around for lots of pictures to see how a dragonfly's wings would look in flight, because I didn't want all the wings to be at the same angle and all look the same. So I found some pictures where the dragonfly's wings were a lot more interesting to draw, because we have lots of different shapes here. This wing looks much thicker, but that is just purely the angle of it. And I was able to on the pictures you could see that the pattern is very hard to see in places. It sort of fades out, so I was able to use different thicknesses of pen, different lines and different colours of pen. I'm working in black and white and grey, so it was nice, really interesting textures to put onto the wings. Now what I do is, when I start to draw, when I'm thinking about what I'm going to draw, I get my little sketchbook and I just do a very quick biro sketch, and then I will pencil, I freehand draw, I will copy from the photograph onto my main piece of paper that I'm using. I'm actually using Peter Pauper artist tile postcards. These actually do have an address panel on them. I'll show you the back of one there. So you could actually send them to people, but I would definitely say if you're sending them to people, put them in an envelope to protect them, because they will get dirty or ruined, or maybe someone will keep them if they like the picture. So these little postcards are great for pen and ink, and I've used the artist tiles for Zentangle, and I use them for Inktober for 2 years running. But this is a lovely size because it's 6x4. It means I can do a nice picture, doesn't take me too long, and these pictures will fit into a photo album. I'm going to get one that's got acid-free paper and the plastic, so that I can slip them into an album and store them, and at the end of the year I'll have 52 pictures. Well, hopefully I'll have 52 pictures anyway. So I was working on a little lap tray. Here, this is my beanbag tray. I've mentioned before that if you're, and my little man there, he follows me everywhere. I mentioned before that if you have limited workspace, you have to work, if you're not very well, you're working from bed or sitting on a sofa, and you don't want to work at a table, and you're doing pen and ink or coloured pencil, it's really easy to use a lap tray. This one has slightly raised sides. The beanbag, it just sits comfortably on your knee and is the perfect size for working small. Obviously you couldn't do watercolours so easily, but it's brilliant for just doing little pen and ink drawings, and it means you can sit in comfort somewhere. And I've found this absolutely invaluable, this little tray, and they're available lots of different places, but just get one with raised sides because that will be really useful to hold your pens. So what I did with this picture, I made a mistake with the first one. I drew my picture out in pencil. I always do a pencil outline to get the size and the shape of the wings and all the main features in. Then I ink over, soft eraser, rub out the pencil outline. Then the inside I fill in directly with pen, just being very careful. But on my first attempt I picked up the thick pen from my little basket of pens. Very silly. Instead of laying my pens out, I picked my pen out of there thinking that was the right one. It wasn't, it was a thick pen, so I had to actually draw out the whole picture all over again, but these things happen. So the second attempt I laid my pens out as I normally do. For this, the main outline, I was using Pentel point liner pens. These are fairly new, haven't used them before. I think they were very nice. They came out no smudging, very easy to use, the ink flowed nicely, and then I used my Unipin pens in 2 shades of grey, so that where the wings were fading out I could use the paler grey and not putting in all the details. There's absolutely no need, in fact it's not good to put in all the details, so it shows that you're seeing just little bits of the detail here. You've got more of the detail where the wing is more highly sort of profiled, this wing, you can see all the detail, whereas these ones underneath and at different angles, you're just seeing bits of the wing. So don't be scared to leave broken lines and gaps, because that just adds to the texture there. And the other thing I did is I used a 2B pencil for some shading. I didn't want to use brush pens on this at all for shading, so just to add some form I used a very gently smudged 2B pencil just around the body and the face. That's perfectly acceptable to use some pencil for shading on an ink drawing. In fact, I think quite often I have done that in the past, and it's very, very effective. And of course, if you shade it in and you don't like it and it's pencil, you can just simply erase it afterwards. So that is week 1. I'm really looking forward to this challenge. The reason I'm chosen to work quite small is because I have other art projects I want to work on as well. So I'm just having one day a week when I will work on the Inktober 52. I'm thinking about it during the week. And then on one day I'll just sit down and have a couple of hours where I can just draw my picture and just forget about everything else. So it is a lovely distraction, Inktober. And for next week the prompt is shadow. Now this is going to be a lot more difficult for me personally. So I have a few ideas. I'm not sure how they're going to work out. We're just going to have to see next week. But during the week I will be scribbling in my notebook and ideas, and then next weekend, well, it'll have to be before the weekend actually, because the week will finish on, I think it's Wednesday. So I will have to get a picture drawn up by Wednesday to show you next weekend. So if you do decide to take part in this challenge, it's very easy. You don't have to work big, you don't have to do lots of fancy detail. It's up to you how much you want to put into your picture, but the main thing is that you enjoy it, you don't get stressed, you don't worry about it, you just keep up with your little drawings and try and do a small drawing every week. It can be as big or as small as you want, and enjoy the challenge.